Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. The last video that I published was a review of a Seiko Presage Cocktail Time. So I thought it was appropriate that the next video that I upload is a review of an affordable alternative to a Seiko Presage Cocktail Time. Just One More Watch, surely the only watch channel on YouTube offering you affordable alternatives to affordable watches. Anyway, I don't do all that many watches under $50 unless of course they're Casios. You know I love my Casios. Or in this case, perhaps you've already guessed, Pagani design. I don't think that anybody offers the value for money, the sheer specs for your dollar that you get these days with a Pagani. This one currently on sale for $32.29. I'll leave a link to that one in the description of the video. I reckon about $35 should be your target price for one of these. Now you get a Seiko movement, you get Pagani's signature crazy anti-reflective coating, and you get a very, very pretty dial for your money. Perhaps not quite up there with the Cocktail Time, but not bad for the cash. Let's flip the camera and have a look at it. Alright, I'm not going to make an epic 25-minute video today, hopefully anyway. It's a fairly straightforward watch. I picked up two of these because at that price, hey, why not? I went for the blue black and I also went for the white dial with rose gold. There's also a plain black one that featured in the thumbnail. That's probably the most sensible of them. And there's also a black and rose gold if that's your bag. All of them feature nice little packaging, Pagani design, polishing cloth warranty card, and a box as you saw. Now I said Seiko movement in the introduction. It's a VH65 today, so it is from their hybrid mechanical Mecha Quartz range. That means that you get 4 ticks of the second hand per second, so it looks to all intents and purposes like a mechanical watch, but it has the reliability and the accuracy that you get from a battery. This one will tick happily for an average of 2 years before you need to change the battery out for $1. And like I said, it's got that signature Pagani design, crazy blue anti-reflective coating covering the mineral crystal here. Now one thing I will do today though, just for fun, is I will do a bit of a comparison between a single tick quartz, the 4 ticks per second of the VH65, and I'll pop another Seiko movement, an automatic with 6 ticks per second, so you can see the differences between the movements, how each of them look in reality. Anyway, 40mm in diameter for this one. It's a kind of classic 40-20. 10.5mm thick, just under 11mm thick, and 45mm lug tip to lug tip, so nice and compact. Also bang on 50 grams on the supplied Pagani Designs branded leather strap. Case finishing is very simple, just a high polish throughout. If you opt for the rose gold one, that is some kind of IP coating, and you've got the little Pagani Design logo on the end of the crown. Now that crown is not screw down, it is just push pull, and the case back is press on. However, they are claiming 100 meters of water resistance with this one. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Perhaps I'll talk about it later on, but hey, it's better than it saying 30 meters, I guess. The supplied leather straps are perfectly fine for the money. Kind of fine grain here, genuine leather, Pagani design logo on the back, and we have matching hardware again with the Pagani logo. This one rose gold IP coated, it's a plain stainless steel buckle and tang on the other one. The dial is covered by a nice piece of double domed mineral crystal, bit of distortion there at the edges of the viewing angle, and as already noted, that insane purple AR goes very well with this blue dial model, I think. But that's enough of that. If this is a budget cocktail time alternative, let's have a look at that dial, because I must say, for $32.29, they haven't done a bad job, have they? Dauphine hands, I think, very well proportioned, needle second hand there as well. And that little sub-dial at the 3 o'clock, that's the date. So it doesn't have a traditional date wheel. An added bonus for this one is that little date complication there at the 3 o'clock. I think a nice touch. Pagani design on the logo printed under the double, baton at 12, and water resistance advertising that 10 bar, 100 meters of water resistance above the 6. And Japan movement squeezed in either side of the double index there at the 6. So doubles at the 12, truncated double at the 3, double at the 6, double at the 9, and single batons everywhere else. We've also got minute markers just dropped around the edges. It's a dressier, casual style of watch, so accuracy of time is not its number one priority, but it's nice to see those minute markers around there nonetheless for a bit of extra practicality. But let's have a look at it under macro, and I must say for a $30 watch, it does alright. That dial is really quite impressive. No rough edges, no bits of grit, no bits of rubbish under here. It's all nice and clean. And in macro, that date complication looks really quite pretty indeed. It is well integrated, recessed, colour matched, date wheel there, and again, no rough edges on that little hand either. All the printing looks crisp and neatly done, and the hands look much better than I've seen on some much more expensive watches. If this style of watch, if this kind of slightly flashier, dressier style of watch is something that you would wear only occasionally, then there isn't really an awful lot of point in investing a lot of your money into it proportionally. You're better spending more money on watches that you would wear all the time and less money on an occasional wear piece like this. I can see this Pagani slotting into quite a few people's budget collections as an occasional wear. And the fact that it's quartz means it'll always be set to the right time, which is an added bonus. So here's a side by side of a single tick quartz, my old vintage Omega here. 4 ticks per second from the VH65 and 6 ticks per second from the 7S26 in the SKX. Clearly the biggest visual jump is between these two. You can tell that this is not as smooth as the 6 ticks per second that you get from the Seiko Automatic, but I think it does a reasonable job of convincing you that it's a mechanical movement in the Pagani. Now this isn't a new movement, this is not new technology. These were first released in 2013, but I've only seen a handful of them. There's obviously the Mecha Quartz Chronos are more popular than these kind of three-hander or four-handers, if you will, in this case. I don't understand why they aren't more popular. I would much rather have one of these in the back of my budget watch rather than, say, a Ronda 515 or a cheap Miyota Quartz. I think at this end of the market, these things are a real boon. And that's the blue dial version on wrist. They've certainly hedged their bets with a classic 40-20 set of dimensions. It's light, only 50 grams. There isn't really much to this one at all, but that means it's going to be nice and comfortable. The strap is perfectly acceptable for the money. I mean, you're not getting Vera Pelli hand-stitched Italian leather here, but it's all right for 30 bucks. Now legibility, perhaps not this one's strong point because of all those grooves, all the facets, the high polished hands, the high polished indices, the high polished everything, all designed to have a play around with the light, but it still does not bad for itself. I think the handset are spot on in terms of proportion to the dial, which really helps. Outside, and especially with that blue dial model, you can see the prominence of that anti-reflective coating. On wrist, short lug to lug, 45, it wears light and easy. Moans and niggles just because it's a $30 watch doesn't mean to say it's getting off scot-free in that department. 100 meters of water resistance, oh, I wouldn't necessarily trust this one. I might take it for a bit of a splash in the pool, but I don't think I would take this one snorkeling. It's not really that style, and to be honest, I would be keeping this one as dry as possible for as long as possible. The leather strap, like I said, it's okay. Nothing spectacular, but I'm sure if you've got some 20mm straps lying around the house, that would be one of the first things to go. And I've said it before, IP coating, gold or rose gold, at this end of the market doesn't look all that convincing, and I'm not sure how long that would last before rubbing off. So if you are keen on this one, I'd be steering you towards the uncoated cased versions. So it's another good looking Pagani that I think offers you an awful lot for not an awful lot. I've reviewed plenty of this brand on the channel before, and I've always kind of said that you can see where the money has been spread very, very thinly. Usually it's the clasps or the bracelet or the bezel, something that just doesn't feel all that great in terms of quality. Perhaps because they're not trying to do as much with this one. Perhaps because they've gone for a cheaper Mecha Quartz module. Perhaps because they've gone for a cheaper leather strap rather than trying to do a bracelet. It doesn't feel like your money has been spread too thinly. For $30, this one is actually quite impressive. So there you have it. If you're on a super tight budget and you like the look of the Seiko Cocktail Time, that beautiful grooved radial dive, then perhaps one of these Paganis will scratch the itch for less than $35 US. I'm a big fan of these Seiko hybrid mechanical movements. I reckon they are the future of quartz, if you see what I mean. Why would you go for a single tick quartz when you can have one of these that mimics the look of an automatic movement, but with the reliability and the accuracy that comes from a battery? To answer my own question, I have no idea. Thanks for watching. I will see you in a future video.